Okay, so we're going to do another module within Chatty Subjects EYFS, and we're here at the top level, the top menu, and we're going to click on Chatty Subjects, EYFS, and then this time we're going into Journeys and Transport. So three key parts to this: transport, journeys and space. So I'll go into a bit of detail on transport. Apologies if you've watched any of these other EYFS videos because there'll be a lot of repetition. And then I'll try not to repeat too much in journeys and space. So let's go into transport first. And along the top, we've got the teaching tools. Along the bottom, we've got the games for consolidation and repetition. So I always suggest going into word map first. That will show you what the key target vocabulary is, which words we've identified to help children to learn. Don't assume children have got these, because honestly, I have assessed thousands of children and you'll be amazed the level of language that children come to school with in the nursery and reception years. So stuff you just assume that they know. There are massive gaps for many, many children, regardless of whether they are international arrivals or in fact children who live in English households with English parents. There's sometimes not a lot of talking happening at home, and so if no one's talking to you about these things or reading you stories or giving you lots of language opportunities, you'll just have lots of gaps in your word knowledge. Okay, so you can see here, let's say we choose bus.
Bus.
It will say the word for us and then we can brainstorm. The initial sound is the bus sound. Another type of vocabulary is car, for example. So can we think of another item from this group? A word that goes with bus is, I would say, journey. You might say passenger. You might say station, because they might go to a bus station. And you can see whatever our responses are, they're marked on here. Makes a really nice activity with the whole group or with an individual or with a group of children. But imagine you've done some teaching in the morning. You could pop into this in the afternoon and just see how much all the children have remembered. Who can tell you the answers to these things? And if they can't, they obviously need a bit more work, a little bit more input before you move on. Okay, so that's the word map. And as I say, I tend to use that as a reviewing mechanism, a reminder of the language. I would always use word cards first as the main form of teaching the vocab. And here we've got each word.
Airplane.
Click on it and it will say what it is.
Car.
Bus.
Bus.
Etc. Train.
Train.
But what you've got is this spinner here, and this will guide you through the way to cue the vocabulary in a way that will maximise vocabulary learning and vocabulary connections within the brain. So this is how speech and language therapists are trained to teach vocabulary. Tell a child what it's called, talk about the features, what it looks like, where would you find it, give it some context, what's the initial sound of the word to help with retrieval, production in general. Can they think of a word that goes with train? Another item in the same group of transport that we're looking at, so bus or car, etc. And then you're back to the beginning. So this allows us to teach vocabulary with much greater depth than just going through here, teaching each word one at a time. Lorry, bike, boat. It's a bit dull and boring. Okay. So we've looked at word cards, we've looked at word map, and then we've got our composite scene. So there's a lot of transport going on in this picture, but the idea is that you've got something that you can discuss with the whole class. It also comes along with blank level questions. So blank levels of comprehension, it's really taking off within education now. It's a tool that speech and language therapists have used for many years. And it's a way of working out what level of understanding the child is at in terms of understanding concrete versus abstract. And children go through a natural process of developing this. We would expect that 65% of 4 and 5-year-olds would be at the highest level of this, at level 4. But in fact, many children are much lower. You'll also get children with things like autism, SEMH, attachment needs, who get a bit stuck at earlier levels of comprehension and need help with these blank levels to move them on to more inferential and abstract understanding of language. And this will take you through all 4 levels. In the settings option, you can say which levels you want to be displayed. So if you feel all your children already know level 1, you don't want to bother asking it, it will start off at level 2 and get harder. If you think like none of your children know level 4 and you don't want to put that on there yet, you can just get rid of that. If you don't change this, it will just work its way through all 4 levels. And there's probably, in a nursery class or a reception class, there's bound to be some children still at level 1, some at level 2, some at level 3, and some at level 4. So you're ensuring that you've got questions there for every child's ability. You don't have to use the questions, you can just have a general chat. Where are they going? Well, you know, what sort of day is it? Where might the people in this car be going? Have you been on a boat before? That sort of thing. Then you've got games. So I'll just quickly show you the games. Pairs is quite obvious.
Bike.
You can click on the word and it will say what it is. But if you're working with a child, make sure you're saying the word so that the child is being exposed and immersed with this vocabulary continually.
Lorry. Wheel. Lorry.
Oh, we've got 2 there. We've got a lorry and a lorry. If you think that your child you're working with could cope with more pictures, you can put it on to 12. So I just use this settings button over here to make it a little bit harder. I would think for EYFS, probably 8 is enough, but you might have some children who can cope with more, a bit bored with 8. You've got Kim's game. So the idea here being that you're going to say each one. You've got a bike, you've got a wheel, you've got an aeroplane and a helicopter. Which one's disappeared? Was it helicopter or bus? So important that you're saying these words for the child so that they're hearing them. And that will help them with their auditory memory. So you saw if they get it wrong, they just get a sad face. Otherwise they get a happy face. Now we're going to hide a picture again. I wasn't even paying attention that time, so I've got no idea. I got it wrong. Yay. Okay, so you get the idea of that. Magic cups.
Bike.
We've got a bike and start the game. And the bike's going to disappear under a cup. And they've got to remember where that bike is. So it's going to move around. Quite slowly really, but it's been designed for quite young children. Yeah, you got bike right. If you feel the children you're working with could cope with faster, again, go into settings. This is always where you make it easier or harder. And say you want it hard, and this time the cups will move around very fast. Just give you a quick glimpse of that, and then we'll go out. So you can see they're going to move much more now. Takes a bit more working memory. Okay, but we've come out. So essentially that's how transport works. We've got journeys. Again, if you look at word map, you'll see all the keywords that have been selected. Each one of those can be seen on a bigger scale with the vocabulary prompts here. And then you've got a scene which just shows a dad and little girl at the station. And you can see an aeroplane. So I think they've got a train to the airport and they're going away on holiday. Again, you've got all your blank level questions here. And you've got your settings to say what blank levels you want. Or you can just make up questions yourself on that one. Ask them about their own holidays, etc. And then you've got the games again, as before. Let's have a look at space. Have a look at the vocabulary again. You can brainstorm any one of these. Use this as a review in the afternoon, or maybe the following week after you've taught the word rocket. Just check that children are retaining what you're teaching them. You've got each word on a large scale.
Astronaut.
You can work your way through those.
Space shuttle.
You've got your cues there to help you teach the vocab. And then you've got a composite scene with blank level questions. You don't have to use the blank questions. You can just think of questions yourself or think of how to discuss it with the children. Okay, and essentially that is journeys and transport. Hope that helps make sense.